Mr. Miyagi is has got to be among the most heartfelt, paragonic characters that I've ever seen on screen. Um, there's no question that uh, that he is a personification of good, though not perfect, which makes him more interesting, of course. Because how can you rate to somebody who is not perfect? uh, he's made his mistakes. He's no doubt done things in his past or said things, for that matter, that he regrets. And that's how we grow up. We become old, we become wise, we recognize what we did was wrong, and we try to steer the youth away from what we did so they won't suffer like we did or have regrets like we did. Um, this man he was all about peace. He didn't bother anybody, kept to himself, kind of an introvert. When we meet him in the first Karate Kid film, he's pretty much of but much as an introvert in that film. Because later on, I'm going to read the last letter that was featured in Cobra Kai season 3, read by Kumiko. I'm going to read that word for word and stop sometimes to comment on some of the things he said, because I'm gonna go into that as how he pretty much found meaning in his life. His life became more meaningful after he met Daniel, and and how much he loved Daniel. Uh, because I mean, when we first met, he had no family. He was not living at home for obvious reasons. And Karate Kid, the second film, explains why he left. Uh, he was a maintenance man, for Daniel's building. I mean, the building that him and his mom moved into. I just thought he was just some old Asian man that fixed faucets. That's what you saw. When you met him. He's just some dude that's minding his own business, keeping out of trouble, living his life, living his golden years. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't that old, matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean. He's up in age and just living his life. What can I say? But we got glimpses of Miyagi's past. If watching the first three Karate Kid films, we know once that his father was a fisherman, and so he became a fisherman. Fishermen ran in the Miyagi family. Um, I think particularly the men were fishermen. They fished and everything like that. It was a good. I mean, those who like fishing pretty much can understand it's a great time waster. It's relaxing. I've heard. It's quiet. It's peaceful being a fishing. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with people that fish without the intent of catching and eating them. They just fish and they just throw them back in the water. It's a peaceful thing to do with your life. So like I said, Miyagi was all about peace, and the type of karate that he practiced exuded peace. That's what made him a peaceful man. Um, and very wise. And there's nothing word about what happened to his mother. I'm assuming that she died of a terminal illness, perhaps when he was in World War, when he was fighting the war after he left. Because I think she was probably. I could like to believe that she was still alive when he left Okinawa, Japan, as a result of falling in love with this girl who her name was Yukie. I can imagine she was really pretty. Even Sato, his best friend, was in love with her. And I believe him and Sato were like brother. I don't think Miyagi had any siblings. I don't think so. The movies didn't say it. Cobra Kai series don't say it. They don't say anything. He had any siblings. So I'm assuming that he was only child. And Sato was the closest thing to a brother that he had. So I'm pretty sure he felt like shit when he started developing feelings for this girl who he knew that Sato liked. And then when he found out that she was going to be wed to him, Miyagi's feelings took over. He didn't like that. You know, then he made a speech over the whole village talking about his expressing his love for Yukie. And Sato was understandably upset about that, but it didn't end there. He wanted to fight. He challenged Miyagi to a duel to the death because Sato was, according to what he would say, that his honor was disrespected, by his best friend. And Miyagi, being the type of person that he is, which is my first note here, is that he hates fighting. So with that mindset, he wasn't going to fight Sato, even though he knew he hurt the man's feelings. Even when Miyagi related that event to Daniel when he was on the airplane on their way back to Okinawa after years he'd been away, he said he remembered he made that speech through the whole village, and you can see that he wasn't happy about it. He wasn't happy for what he did. You know, he was. You could just see the expression on his face that he thought it was stupid what he did. You know, but it was either fight his friend to the death or leave his family and friends in Okinawa, and he chose to leave. I remember Daniel asked him one time. He said, "How come you didn't take Yukie with you?" Miyagi said he was stupid. He should have. He wasn't thinking. He was young and stupid. You know, Pretty much that's what he told Daniel in his reply. He was like, "Ah, just stupid." I don't know, and all that. He just knew he wanted to get away. He had to get away because he knew he wasn't going to fight Sato. And and he knew that he knew about people having their honor broken, that the grudges don't end until it's resolved by death. So he knew when he was going back to Okinawa after he found out his father was very sick, he had to go back there despite the fact he could run into Sato again. And Sato was going to want to fight him, but Miyagi was pretty. He had a lot of balls going back, put it that way, to see his father. You can see that he loved his father to death. He hadn't seen his father in decades, and Yukie for that matter. But he ran to Sato pretty fucking quick. You know what I'm saying? When he arrived in Okinawa, Sato, you fight me. Sato was like, we're gonna fight. We're gonna resolve. We're gonna finish this shit. We should have finished decades ago. Miyagi pretty much told him, "I'm not gonna fight you." You know what I'm saying? But he knew that Miyagi was. I mean, not Miyagi. He knew that Sato wasn't gonna drop that grudge. So, but Miyagi knew in his heart that he wasn't gonna fight him. He didn't fight him then. He was gonna fight him now until he was pushed into a corner. That Sato threatened to destroy the entire village. Everybody in the village is gonna be homeless. Everything they homes, their memories are gonna be gone. So Miyagi, being the person that he is, how much he cares about his village, Tomi village that is, he grudgingly agreed to fight Sato. He even wrote Daniel a will, if you will, no pun intended. Um, Daniel could have everything back home in case shit goes south against Sato. You know, because who's to know what would have happened in that fight if it happened, if that storm never hit? Um, who would have known? You know what I'm saying? He probably would have allowed Sato to kill him. Maybe he was planning on not killing. Maybe His father is gone. Yukie, she's fine. Yukie never remarried. She said, I mean, she never got married to him after he left. Um, he probably wouldn't be able to bring himself to kill his best friend, his only friend basically, and he probably would allow Saul to kill him. Probably that's how Miyagi was, man. This man was peaceful all around. This is gonna be a long fucking video, by the way. I think it's gonna be over an hour because I got 2 pages worth of notes to cover. So without further ado, let's get on with it. It's up to for debate on how that fight would have ended if had it happened. I'm personally glad it didn't. Thank you for the storm. Divine or not, I'm thankful it happened because they didn't fight. Sato ended up being redeemed. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. You know. So yeah, Miyagi hated fighting. That goes with the first note. He hated fighting. He despised it. I'm pretty sure as he grew up, he got into fights, with fucking local teens and shit. But he didn't defend himself because he knew Miyagi no karate. So he did it because he had to, not because he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between Cobra Kai and Miyagi Do. Miyagi Do students they don't fight because they want to, they fight because they have to. Cobra Kai, they fight because they want to. And they show no mercy and shit like that. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself now. uh so because he told Daniel in Karate Kid 2, he says, even if you win, you lose. Um, that was regarding him going up against Sato, or Sato going up against him. But Sato ends up killing Miyagi over some honor shit. He still loses because he allowed his rage and stupidity to fight and win, quote unquote. Um, so yeah, you say you really lose, you don't win. There's no winners. Even if Miyagi ended up beating Sato, whether he killed him or not, Miyagi would still lose because the fight was stupid. It was fucking stupid. There's no he believed in no winners in fights. There's no real winners in a fight. No matter what happened, what sparked the fight, there's just only one person. Even if it's one person standing, like I'm saying, you still lose because there's no such thing as a fucking winner. That's what he believed. And that saying counters Cobra Kai's philosophy: strike first, strike hard, because it's based off rage and revenge. That's what drives a Cobra Kai student, is rage and revenge, and that's not good. It's not good for your health. It's been scientifically proven that being angry all the time is not good for your heart. It puts stress on your heart, which will cause you to fucking die a premature death if you're always in fucking rage all the time. So, um, why he did okay? Why he didn't teach Daniel the pressure point technique? Now, this has been a talk on YouTube when I used to when I watched the Cobra Kai related videos. I mean, I'm pretty sure people wonder that, like, why didn't teach Daniel that? You know what I'm saying? That would be a good fucking offense move. Yes, it is a good offense move. But the question is it needed? You know the answer to this question, especially if you've seen Miyagi in action in the Karate Kid films. Of course, it's not needed. He was able to subdue his enemies or cease them from attacking him without using that. So it wasn't. It's not something that's needed. You know. I mean, we never seen Miyagi use it in the films. Um, like I said, it wasn't needed to overcome his attackers. Um, Perhaps this is me. This is speculation territory. Perhaps he was afraid young Daniel would become arrogant if he taught him that move. If Miyagi knew the move and he taught. I mean, he taught Daniel that Daniel probably would become arrogant because that move was learned to be a Miyagi technique. Because back in Miyagi ancestors' days, there was Chinese invaders that would invade their country, and in order to prevail against them, they had to kill those invaders. And that was one of the moves that they used to subdue their enemies. Was the pressure point technique. Um, and mind you, it's nothing like the fucking Quicksilver method or the silver bullet from Terry Silver and shit. It wasn't meant to kill you. It was meant to subdue you. Uh, all it did was numb your arms and your legs and shit like that. It makes you it will set you up to get killed though because you can't move your limbs to defend yourself. Just like if you've seen Daniel versus Chosen in the Cobra Kai series, how Chosen ended up fucking numbing Daniel. Chosen could easily kill him. Um, I mean, Miyagi knew of some moves where he could actually fucking kill you with his bare hands. Case in point, in the beginning of Karate Kid 2, he could have killed John Kreese that night. But why would he do that? Why go to jail for murder, right? That's the main fucking reason why you wouldn't do it, right? Daniel is gonna fucking ask, why you could have killed that guy, right? He says, hey. He says, why didn't you? I'm like, what the fuck? Why you think he didn't? Why wouldn't you do it if you have common sense? Come on, Daniel. But Miyagi didn't say it. I would have said it, but Miyagi didn't say it. He says to live. He said to live with the regret and the pain is worse than death. You know, he said killing Kreese would have been fucking. It would have been an act of kindness if he would have killed him because he didn't get to live the pain, the suffering, or the shit that he's done, and up to that point in time. He said a person without no forgiveness in heart is a fate worse than death, and that's true. He said that man is gonna fucking suffer because he's a mean, unforgiving motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but the thing is, since Miyagi is supposed to be this peaceful, loving paragon, pacifist, whatever you want to call, why did he even learn that move? Why did he know about it if he wasn't ever going to use it? Well, there's one idea I think I can say as to why he knew about it, but he wasn't going to use it. It's because it was traditional. Like when he was taught karate by his father, it was traditional to learn everything. You can't question nothing. You have to learn everything the Miyagi Do arts. Uh it was tradition to learn it, even though you had no intention of using it. It was tradition to learn that move. Um, that's my reasons why he knew about it, but he was never intended on using it on anybody. As far as a pressure point technique, I don't even know. I can say that he probably didn't even know the move purposely. He probably didn't want to learn it. And if he did learn the move, he obviously wasn't going to use it because maybe he felt it was too mean to his opponent. Like I said, Miyagi's a peaceful, loving person, you know, and he didn't want to numb anybody. Oh, he probably felt if he used that technique on them, they would come back at him full force, or probably come back out with their fucking hands trying to fight him. They might come with a gun and kill him because what the fuck you fucking numb me? I don't know. Miyagi had his reasons to why he didn't use that move, why he didn't teach Daniel that move. You can only speculate as to why, but because Daniel pretty much speculates that maybe he didn't teach me to protect me. You know what I'm saying? I think he's not too far from the truth. uh, because personally, if I knew that move and I was training somebody as young as then, like 7 to 18 years old, I wouldn't have taught him that. No, no way. I would have waited until he was much older, at least mature enough to learn to know about such a move. And like I said, number one, it's not needed to overcome your enemies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can you imagine if Chosen knew that move when he fought Daniel and Karate Kid too? And don't think for a second he wouldn't have used it against Daniel if he knew about the move. He didn't. He obviously didn't know it because he definitely would have used it, like I said. So he didn't know it. Thank God, because if he did, because had he known about that pressure point back then, Daniel would have had no chance to beat him. There would be no fucking uh, drum technique that Daniel used to overpower Chosen because he wouldn't be able to move around. He'd be fucking numb all over. Yeah, Chosen would have definitely killed Daniel that day, that night, had he learned that pressure point move. That shows you how dangerous that move can be if learned by the wrong people. And Miyagi knew about that. You know what I'm saying? He knew about it. Um, I remember in Karate Kid 1, when Daniel was practicing his moves on a boat when it was out in the water. Miyagi was sitting down on the boat fishing, and Daniel was practicing his karate and shit. And Daniel pretty much, I don't know if Miyagi, I ain't seen the movie in a while. I don't know if Miyagi asked him why is karate important. But I remember what Daniel said. He said you take karate because you don't have to fight. Because if you learn karate, you do it so you won't have to fight. That's what he said. And Miyagi looked at him and he says, "Is that what you think?" And he was like, "Yeah." And the way Miyagi said it, it's like, you can see he never thought of it like that, you know. And I'm pretty sure at that moment his bond with Daniel grew stronger. He said, "This kid is interesting," you know, because Miyagi, he expressed to Daniel that he hates fighting, you know, and when he said it was like he was swallowing some sour milk or something. Miyagi hates fighting. He despised it, you know, and yeah, he saw. Wait, oh yeah, he saw tournaments as trivial or stupidly unnecessary. Remember in Karate Kid 1 when Daniel, after he saved Daniel from getting killed by Johnny and his crew, and Daniel woke up in the bed and shit. He was like, Daniel was amazed that he knew how to fight. He said, "I want you to teach me." He's like, "No." He's like, "Come on, man." He said, "No, I'm not teaching you to." No. He didn't want to be no sensei. He was like, "Look, I saved your life. Be happy. You know, after you fucking feel well, go home and I'll see you tomorrow, whatever." And Daniel pretty much convinced him to go to the dojo the next day and talk to the sensei, John Kreese, about what happened. But Kreese already knew about it from Johnny and his crew, and they pretty much told Kreese that the old man beat him up. Like he just appeared out of nowhere and fucked them up and shit. And Miyagi pretty much told him, your students are lying to you, man. That's not what fucking happened. They was fuck leave tell him leave boy alone. You know what I'm saying? And then Chris was like, you don't come in my dojo and drop a challenge and leave, old man. You put your boy on the mat right now, and then we can settle this right here. Miyagi was like, hell no. Because Miyagi knew that Daniel was gonna get his ass whooped on that fucking mat. There's no question about it. Because Miyagi was like, 1-on-1 is no problem, but 5-to-1 is a problem. And Kreese was like, oh, that's your problem. It's the odds. He said, well, there's a mat right there. Uh, get your boy on the mat. We'll choose somebody, maybe Johnny, and they could duke it out right here. Miyagi was like, hell no. Hell no. He said he'll compete at the tournament. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, before Miyagi stepped up in that dojo, he wasn't planning on having Daniel participate in no fucking tournament. He was going to talk it out, said just have them just leave the boy alone. You know what I'm saying? Can they just stop bothering him? Miyagi was trying to be a diplomat about it, but he saw that, but he realized that they wasn't going to stop messing with Daniel unless he participated in this fucking tournament. So it was like instantly that he concocted in his mind a plan for Daniel to receive respect. You know what I'm saying? So he figured that having Daniel participate in that tournament, whether he wins or loses, they won't bother him no more. You know? So that was Miyagi's plan to help out Daniel, you know? Even though he saw tournaments as like, black belts were fucking trivial to him. Like, what's a black belt, brown belt? You know, it's like, but he felt, you know, as lovable as Miyagi was, he felt that that was the only way that Daniel would be able to go to school without fear. Is at least is he at least compete against them in a tournament? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I lost my spot. I hate this. Yeah, that was a funny scene when Daniel asked, "What belt are you?" He was like, "Belt is only to hold up your pants." You know what I'm saying? He said that's, and he was like, "Karate is here and here, never on your waist." You know what I'm saying? That's what he told Daniel. It's never there. One of the first lessons that he taught him. Um, okay, why did Miyagi have Daniel participate in the tournament in part one? Just pretty much went over that already. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Okay, here's another one. Why did he cave in and have him participate in part three? In part three, Karate Kid 3, Daniel was going to compete in the All Valley tournament. And he was telling Miyagi, I don't have to fight up no ranks because I'm already a champion of the last one. You know? Yeah, I was like, he was listening to him and shit like that. But he wasn't going to train Daniel for the tournament. And he, in no way, shape, or form did he say, Daniel, stop. You don't need to be competing no fucking. What's wrong with you? Don't compete in the tournament. Burn the fucking contract. Burn it and all that shit. he wasn't gonna tell Daniel not to compete in the tournament. He wasn't gonna train him for it, you know. But when Daniel decided to not enter, Miyagi was understandably happy about it, you know. And that was before Mike Barnes got into the picture, and eventually, under duress, Daniel ended up signing the application. And and Miyagi was understandably hurt about that, even though Daniel had no choice. He was at the bottom of the fucking mountain. The tide was coming in. They was pulling the ropes up. What can he do? Miyagi had listened to him. Don't think he ignored him. He learned. He's understand, you know. And he was like, "Will you train me?" He's like, "Miyagi will always train you, but for tournament, no." You know, he still wasn't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like no, no means no. So, and Daniel was very upset about that. You know, that's what him ended up going to Terry Silver and shit, and he was learning. He was basically learning how to hurt himself. You know, and Miyagi felt that Daniel's attitude started to change. You know, because he was drinking the Cobra Kai juice, if you will, and by him drinking the juice of Cobra Kai, he started to become more belligerent and everything like that. It was one scene where he was knocking on the door. He's like, "Daniel, son, what you doing?" He said, "I don't got no time to talk right now. I'm just training myself because you're not gonna do it, for the tournament." Oh yeah, there was one scene where Daniel was limping when he got back home. So Miyagi brought him some of this foot shit that he could soak his foot in. Because he knew Daniel was training himself for the tournament, he was hurting himself in the process. But he didn't know there was a scheme going on for him to hurt himself. He didn't know about that. So he brought him some foot powder and a bowl and some water. He put some water in the bowl. And Daniel was just lying. Oh shit, how did I get there? This dude had one shoe on. And the other shoe was off with his bare foot. Miyagi knew he was lying. And yes, Miyagi was hurt because he wasn't confiding in him what's going on with him. But Miyagi was not gonna force it out of him. He was gonna let the boy lie to him. So he bought him some. So he made some foot powder for him, and and that's that. And when Daniel hurt himself again, he stole some foot powder when Miyagi was sleeping, supposed to have been sleeping, out of his drawer, and he went back and he because he ended up hurting his elbow, and he was using that as he was reading. Maybe he was reading a karate book or whatever. So Miyagi knocks on his door because Miyagi really wanted to talk with him. He knew that something was wrong with Daniel. Something was going on. He wanted to get to the bottom of it. And Daniel was Miyagi was kind of persistent. He said, "What are you doing?" You know. And he said, and Daniel was kind of giving him lip, and he was like, "That don't sound like you talking to me." And Daniel was like, "Okay, well, it is me talking." So he gets up and he opens the door and he pretty much said, "Leave me alone." You know what I'm saying? When I needed you, you wasn't there. Oh, la, la. I mean, and that scene shows you how much this man loved Daniel. I mean, he was a little teary eyed, you know. He's like, "I got problems right now." And he just slams the door basically in his face. Miyagi's face and shit like that, So their relationship was kind of strained at that point. You know what I'm saying? And wow. So why did he cave in to train Daniel? Uh, Once Daniel found out that he didn't want to train on the silver anymore, which he thought he was training, but he wasn't. He just didn't want to train on silver because he didn't like Daniel didn't like the way he broke this guy's nose at this nightclub that happened. And Miyagi eventually found out because Daniel told him because he was on the phone with the nurse at the hospital where the guy's nose was broke. He was trying to, but he couldn't speak with him because it was too late at night. He was like, "Please let me speak with him." And she was like, "Wait till tomorrow." He said, "No, I can't wait till tomorrow. Let me speak to him now. Damn it." He said, "Look, I'm sorry for being so rude. I'm sorry." Then she hung up on him. And he was like, "Damn it!" And Miyagi came and he was like, "Hmm." And then Daniel just told him everything. He said, "I got this poor guy's blood all over me." He said, "I'm like the tree. I'm falling apart." You know what I'm saying? He said, "I feel like the world." He said he felt like the world is coming down on him. You know, Cobra Kai juice. Um, and so Miyagi was probably thinking at this point, I knew something was wrong with him, but goddamn, he fucking broke some guy's nose. I don't teach him that. That's not me teaching him. You know what I'm saying? you know, so so we trying to focus on Miyagi's point of view, this thinking process, because this is a video is based off Miyagi, not Daniel. So after Daniel went to confront Silver, Miyagi offered him. He didn't even Miyagi. I believe he had the feeling where Daniel was going, but he wasn't sure, and his calculations were correct. He was training at Cobra Kai. That's why he was there when Daniel ran out the fucking dojo. Or maybe he followed Daniel at a distance. You know, maybe he did follow him at a distance. He saw him go into the dojo, and he just had to wait out there to talk with him once he came back out. And he was just waiting for him. And when Daniel was running out, he caught Daniel, and then he saw Mike Barnes, and so he fought Mike Barnes and knocked his ass right back into the dojo. So that's why he was there to talk to Daniel in the first place, because he followed him pretty much, or he felt that he was there. You know. Because he said, "You want Miyagi to come and help you?" He's like, "No, I got this. It's all right." There's this guy. It's coming back to me. He said, "There's this guy's been teaching me karate. I'm gonna tell him that it's over. Uh, Thank you, Miyagi, but I do this myself. I got." He said, "I got involved. I did this to myself." No, he said, "I got involved with this with myself, and I'm gonna get out of it myself." That's what he said. And so he put two and two together, you know, and that's why he was there. So after he ended up overcoming Kreese and Silver, Miyagi caved in because number one, his love for Daniel. He put his personal opinions about karate tournaments to the side to help out this boy who means a lot to him. I mean, Daniel was the one who tried to help Miyagi open up a bonsai store. He didn't use the money for his college tuition. He used the money to open up a store so Miyagi could sell bonsai trees. He could make some money. You know what I'm saying? And Miyagi appreciated that. And when the bonsai trees were stolen in earlier in the movie, he didn't get upset about it. He didn't allow us to get upset. He started to sing a happy song on the way to the house. Daniel was visibly upset. How can you sing at a time like this? That's the person that Miyagi was. He was a peaceful man. I mean, very peaceful. He didn't try. He tried to avoid letting shit get to him. That's who he was. And then when they got back to the house, and those trees that were there that were stolen as well, with the fucking application dangling over the fucking table. How you think Miyagi? You remember how Miyagi handled that? I'm gonna tell you how. He got his pail and his fishing rod. Decided to go night fishing. Why get upset over something you have no control over? I mean, getting upset is not gonna bring the bonsai trees back. Uh, it's not gonna reverse what happened. So he does things to keep his mind at ease. You know, that is something to admire. That's something to take a lesson from. So his love. That's why he allowed Daniel to. That's why he trained Daniel for the tournament in part three, and he allowed Daniel to participate in the tournament. No, he had Daniel participate in the tournament in part one because of his love for the boy. You know, and he was reluctant to even teach Daniel karate at first. You know what I'm saying? But he caved in because that's Miyagi, man. That's Miyagi. What can I say? Yes, here's the part where I read Miyagi's final letter on his to his childhood love, and her name was Yukie, read by Kumiko in season three of Cobra Kai. And I'm gonna read, and I have a word for word written down here. This is a week before he died. Uh, as we learned, he's been writing her off and on ever since he saw her again in Okinawa and the second Karate Kid movie, which is sweet. Uh, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? I hope I keep it together. Every time I see this scene, it just gets my eyes watering, man. Um, yeah, but Yagi doesn't have much time left on here at this point. He had less than a week to live at this point. This is what he wrote to Yukie, this his childhood love. Not to mention, she told him in Karate Kid 2 that she wished that she took him with him when he left Okinawa. When he left Okinawa, Tomi Village, the first time. So, um, I'm trying to trying to gather myself, trying not to fucking break. It says, and I quote: "In life, I have always looked for signs to show me the right way, but I got lost until I met Daniel San. His kind heart, strong chi, and loyalty and love for those around him is a guiding light to me. I'm very proud of the man he has become, even though he still has a hard head. Yeah. He goes on to say is, I never thought I would have a family again. Daniel's son, turn this over. Daniel's son has welcomed me into his family, and he has passed on what I teach him in Miyagi Do to his daughter. Samantha makes me feel like I'm her Tanmei, which means grandfather in Japanese. Because in life, we'll always lose our way, but it's the people, not the signs, that guide us back to the right path. Miyagi heard that last part in the fucking car salesman's commercial. Which Daniel ended up becoming. At least at that time, he was a car salesman at the time already. I don't know if it was a commercial from Daniel or it was another car. I think it was. I think it was Daniel's commercial. I think so. Um. So that's the letter he wrote to Yukie. Um. She ended up passing away after he did. I think he died before she did, and she ended up passing away after he did. So I don't know how many years. I don't know how much longer it was after he passed. But yeah. So, anyways, there's a part in season 5. Amanda, Daniel LaRusso's wife, said that um, she said she thinks that is what Miyagi would want. Now, this is like close to the end of the season, I think, or the mid season of season 5. Um, where Amanda, when it was like they was talking about the drama that's going on with Cobra Kai and shit, and she pretty much said this is what she thinks Miyagi would want us to do if he was around. If I'm gonna tell you one thing right now, if it involved fighting, no, he would have not want them to do fight, no fighting at all. Remember what he taught Daniel? Karate is for self defense only. That's it. That means somebody's going to have to try to attack you, not you going to them. Um. So yeah, if it involved fighting, no. If it involved negotiation, diplomatic solutions, yeah. Uh, Miyagi never encouraged Daniel to win ever. It was about him getting respect. Again, Miyagi never, ever encouraged Daniel to win. It was all about Daniel getting respect. I'm going to prove it. Okay, so when Karate Kid 1, when Daniel's knee got dislocated, and Daniel was like, won't you do that fucking thing you did for my shoulder? When you pop my shoulder back in place, why don't you do that thing with me again? He's like, no need to fight anymore. You already proved. You know, there's no need, there's nothing else to prove. You got the respect of your peers. There's no need to do it. Let's just go home. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to prove anything. And Daniel reply was like, he said, I can't. He said, I just can't go home because once I go back to school, those guys gonna think they all. Those guys gonna know they got the best of me. He'd never have balance with Allie anymore because Allie was his fucking crush at the time, and he was pretty much saying they was still gonna bully him in school if he didn't continue. So Miyagi, being a kind person that he is, decides to go back on what he wanted to do, or was for on what he felt should Daniel should do, and listen to Daniel and have him continue by popping his knee back in place. Funny thing about that technique, about when he rub his hands together and he Daniel never learned that himself. I don't know why he didn't. That is one technique that Daniel never learned. I don't know what it is. Maybe he didn't have a neck to learn it, or maybe he felt that he didn't need to learn it. You know what I'm saying? But that technique helped him out twice. Because Miyagi response was simply this. When he decided to help out Daniel, he says, close eye. Daniel knew that Miyagi was going to help him. He said, I got nothing else to say. You want to go and continue the tournament? Okay. Close eye. So, and at the end of Cobra Kai season 4, after Daniel's crew rather lost the tournament, they didn't even know that fucking Terry Silver bought off the fucking referee with his crafty ass. Um, he was at Miyagi's grave wondering why he lost. I mean, what? This shows you how fucking far gone Daniel has went from the Miyagi Do philosophy and all the things Miyagi has taught him to that point, up to the point of his death. Uh, it's like he's forgotten everything he's taught him. Not like not in the sense that he just like he had amnesia or he just really forgot it. He forgot it. He's not applying it in his life. He stopped. It was some point in Daniel's life where he stopped applying what he was taught. He started allowing emotion to drive him. The episodes leading up to season 4. At the conclusion, this man couldn't understand why he lost. He was wondering why he lost. I did everything right. Dude, you're unbalanced. That's number one. Number two, your daughter is unbalanced. That's why she couldn't beat Tori. Tori was balanced. You were not. That's why she lost and she was crying like a little bitch. Little baby. Oh my God. I did everything right, Daddy. Oh, why did I unbalanced. That's why you lost. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me how far away Daniel strayed from being balanced. It's unbelievable. And he forgotten the most important fucking lesson among Miyagi's teachings. Well, it's never about fucking winning, man. It's about getting respect. Oh, my dojo, I gotta close my dojos. Dude. What did you learn when you went back to Okinawa in season 3? Everything always works out, man. Just sit back, wait. Everything is gonna be all right. That just showed that's what it told me. That Daniel was definitely strayed away from the. Because as the season was rolling on since season 1, he got further and further and further away from being balanced, man. And I'm going to tell you why that happened. Daniel, ever since he opened up his own car dealership, he started spending more and more time doing things concerning that, as opposed to making time to practice his karate and its balance. How do I know? In season 1, did you see that room? How look, all the shit was everywhere. You could see the dust mites on that fucking shit in that room where they used to practice karate. Miyagi Do and shit. The pictures were taken down. He had to put the pictures back up. He had to put the altar back up. All the Miyagi sayings, he had to put that back up. Miyagi's medal that he won in the war, he had to put that back up. Even though Miyagi says the Purple Heart ain't shit, it just says you're very lucky, and he's right. That's what the war medals mean. That means you got lucky, you didn't get killed. But he had to put all that shit up. He took everything. It's like he wanted to just push aside Miyagi Do and practicing it and shit. You know, he didn't put all that shit back up until Johnny Lawrence decided to revive Cobra Kai. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't practice shit. You don't, because Miyagi Do is like akin to religion. You know what I'm saying? If you stop practicing after a while, you're going to fucking forget who the person you were when you were practicing it. You know. And then when you get back to practicing said religion, or Miyagi Do in Daniel's case, it's not easy to get back on board because you were away for so long. You forgot how to drive the fucking motor. You forgot how to drive the boat. You forgot, man, because you're rusty as fuck. And that passed on to fucking Samantha, his daughter. She was imbalanced as fuck. Hell, she became a fucking polarizing character as a result. She became from good to bad. But that's a video for another time. We talk about that fucking bitch. You know, it's like, oh my God. I want to focus on Miyagi with this video. Look, it's over an hour already. Look at that. So, let me check something right quick. Okay. So, yeah, Daniel forgot what Miyagi told him about staying focused. Right. Okay. And what did Miyagi tell him in Karate Kid 3 when he was saying, hey, I'm afraid of him, of Mike Barnes and shit? He said, all right, you stay focused. Then you're saying your best karate is still inside you. Now time, let out. Stay focused. Your best karate is still inside you. Let it out. And people actually make fun of that kata thing that he threw Mike Barnes off his guard, Mike Barnes, to get that point to win the tournament. I felt that was better than the fucking crane technique when he beat Johnny with. Johnny was just too fucking slow to fucking counter it. That's why he lost. But Mike Barnes losing made more sense. He thought Daniel was losing his fucking mind. That's why he didn't want to attack him. One person, he was scared. No, he wasn't. He was tripping out. What the fuck would Mike Barnes be scared of? Even his boys were saying, fight him, Mike. He's hallucinating. Silver was like, get the point. Get the point. Mike was like, the fuck is this guy doing? He threw Mike off his game. Daniel wasn't focused in Cobra Kai seasons. He got to get that focus back. He became so off balance, man. And that's the end of this video. The way Miyagi subdued his enemies was pure amazement. He wasn't grunting. He wasn't really throwing no kicks and punches. He was just counting everything they were doing to him because the man was balanced. Compare Daniels using Miyagi Do in season 1 all the way to season fucking 5. There's a difference. Daniel went from using mostly offense and countering. Daniel went from using mostly defense and countering to fucking more offense, which he ended up getting his ass whooped. He got his daughter crying, wondering why she lost. Because she did everything right. No, she didn't. So, at the end of the day, ain't about winning or losing anyway. It's about getting respect. And remember, Miyagi hates fighting. Remember that. Anything that involves fighting, no. With that being said, this is Y Chromosome signing the fuck out. Peace and love. Good health to you all. And be safe out there. Peace. I'm out.